Hello, welcome to this week's Tea Time Results Show. A roundup of the games that societies have played, the winners, the special mentions and an update of what's going on and how you can get involved. Okay, so we started 2 weeks ago with Las Gaviotas. They played on Tuesday the 1st of July, they played a World Handicap qualifier. So it was an individual game. In first place with 45 points, Vron Porter, excellent score, well done Vron. In second place with 34 points, Susan Lyons, and in third place with 32 points, Sue Brew. They were swiftly followed by Sprightly Golf Society. On the 1st of July, they played a Pinehurst, 2 drives each, so it was a team game. In first place with 120 points, Dave Mitchell, Charles Leggett, Keith Humphrey and Harry Pearson. In second place with 119 points, Hebby, Paul Marshall, Charles Leggett, obviously card drawn, and Bob Evans. And in third place with 118 points, Thomas McQuilter, Colin Reid, Jerome Dooley and Brian Arnold. Nearest the pin on hole 3, Glenn Trigg. Nearest the pin on hole 5, Keith Humphrey. On hole 11 and hole 13, Spencer Truman, and on hole 8 in 2 was Hebby. Okay, so we move on to Wednesday. Wednesday Golf Association, run by Eugene Toy. On the Wednesday, the 2nd of July, they played a Pinehurst, which was their annual competition, which was then followed by dinner and drinks at the Casa Club. More of that to mention later. The team game was won by Steve Gill, Steve Parsons and a ghost player with 103 points. The second place was Ian Butters, Luke Sharp and Steve Carter with 96 points. And on countback in third place, Jim Chapman, Norman Morgan and Gary Davis also on 96 points. The nearest the pins on hole 3, Jim Chapman. On hole 5, Ian Butters. Hole 11, Steve Gill. Hole 13, Baz Elmore, and hole 8 in 2, Ian Butters. And there was a longest drive competition, which was won by Steve Parsons. So, yeah, the day was organised by Dave Freer and John Leyland, very well organised by all accounts, followed by a meal at the Casa Club. There were lots of other prizes and other statistics to mention. We don't have time to do that today here, unfortunately, but it will be in the newsletter at the end of this month, so please look out for that. Thursday Friendly Golf Society, which is run by Jim Hall, they played a Texas Scramble. So a team game. In first place, Steve Gill, Spencer Truman, Pete Constable and Steve Carter with 55.7 net, fantastic score. Second place, Glenn Trigg, Ray Lyons, Gordon Nielsen and Phil Houghton with 60.1 net. And in third place, Jim Hall, Ian Pragnall, Brian Arnold and Gary Greenfield with 61.1 net. Nearest the pins on hole 3, Ian Pragnall, on hole 5, Hebby and hole 13, Phil Houghton. So we move on to Saturday, the 5th of July. The Clubhouse Golf Society also played a Pinehurst with a joker ball counting for double points. So the team in first place, Walt Island, Bill Donald, Irene Langley and Ernie Milford with 184, which is a massive score, but obviously the joker contributed to that. And second place, Hebby, Chris Bye, Dave Spooner and Pete Constable with 182 points. Nearest the pins, hole 3 and hole 5, Charlie Leggett. On hole 11, Ernie Milford. Hole 13, Phil Houghton. And hole 4 in 2, Hebby. Okay, so they were followed by Cat's Bar, which is run by Kieran McGibney, also on a Saturday from the early time of 8:02. They also played a Pinehurst, 2 drives each with 2 scores to count. So the team in first place were Kieran McGibney, Steve Cronk, Jim Chapman and Dave Griffiths, who was card drawn with 101 points. Very close second with 100 points, Norman Morgan, Dave Griffiths, Baz Elmore and Luke Sharp. Just 2 nearest the pins on hole 5, Kieran McGibney and hole 13, Steve Cronk. There were 3 twos winners, Kieran McGibney, Steve Cronk and Jim Chapman, who all got a 2 on the same hole and were all playing in the same team, which is quite unique. There were also a couple of notable high scores. Jim Chapman had 44 points and Steve Cronk 45, so well done, guys. The next game was Sunshine Golf Society, who played on the Sunday, which is a mixed competition. It was a Division A and Division B World Handicap qualifier. Again, some pretty high scores. In Division A, in first place, Ray Lyons with 42 points. Second place with 38 points, Rob Greatley. And on countback, also with 38 points, Gary Lovejoy. Division B, in first place, a fantastic 43 points, Hayley Barker. In second place with 42 points, Susan Lyons. Third place with 37 points, Trev Andrew. And fourth place with 34 points, Ron Porter. Might just mention as well that there were 2 birdies achieved by Rob Greatley and Hayley Barker on the 9th. Nearest the pins, hole 3, Ian Butters, hole 5, Irene Langley, hole 11, Ray Lyons, hole 13, Susan Lyons, bit of a family thing going on there, hole 8 in 2, Mark Palmer, and hole 15 in 3, Mary Armitage. And 2's winners, Neil Smith, Susan Lyons, Ron Porter, and Ian Butters. Okay, so back to the following Tuesday, Las Gaviotas played a sixers game, which is basically 6 points available for each hole, which is shared between the 3 players. Quite complicated, I'm not going into it. Anyway, in first place with Mary Armitage, 39 points. In second place, on 38 points, Hayley Barker. And in third place with 31 points, Ron Porter. There was also a knockout match going on the same day between Alison Vasey and Sue Brew, and they were playing Irene Langley and Pam Andrew, and it went to 22 holes, so it's quite a mammoth game. Finally won by Alison Vasey and Sue Brew, so well done you two. They were followed by Sprightly, who played a waltz 1-2-3. So the team in first place with 92 points on countback on the back 9. Jim Hall, Dave Bennett, Keith Humphrey and Harry Pearson. 92 points in second place, Dave Spooner, Dave Mitchell, Spencer Truman and Hebby. And in third place with 90 points, Charlie Leggett, Martin Wilkins, Pete Constable and Ernie Milford. Nearest the pin on hole 3, Camille Vertonghen. On hole 5, Ernie Milford. Hole 11, Bob Evans. Hole 13, Martin Wilkins, and hole 8 in 2, Charles Leggett. Wednesday Golf Association on the 9th of July, they played 3 scores to count on par 5s and on par 3s, and 2 scores to count on par 4s. Team in first place, Eugene Toy, Dave Freer, Steve Cronk and Steve Gill with 110 points. In second place, Dennis Jones, Des Watts, Dave Oakes and Dee Handyman with 109 points. And in third place, Steve Adams, Terry Colvin, Neil Smith and Trev Andrew was the drawn card with 107 points. And there were 2's winners. There were 4 2's, Dennis Jones, Dave Freer, Dave Griffiths and Steve Parsons. Thursday, Friendly Golf Society played red, white and blue. So that's just a different tee box each time. That was, again, a team game. In first place with 97 points, Dave Spooner, Keith Humphrey, Steve Carter and Ray Lyons. In second place, Bob Evans, Gary Greenfield, Martin Geary and Camille Vertonghen. And in third place with 91 points, Dave Mitchell, Paul Weeks, Ernie Milford and Pete Constable. Nearest the pin on hole 3, Bob Evans. On hole 11, Jim Hall. And hole 13, Steve Gill. So moving on to the Saturday Clubhouse Golf Society, Saturday the 12th of July, they played a Texas Scramble off the yellow tees. Team in first place with 61.4, Pete Constable, Ernie Milford, Steve Carter and a ghost player. In second place with 61.8, so very close, Steve Gill, Glenn Elliott, Chris Bye and Mick Drummond. And in third place with 62.5, Gordon Nielsen, Jerome Dooley, Jim Hall and Alistair Ray. Nearest the pin on hole 3, Steve Gill. On hole 5, Alistair Ray. Hole 11, Ernie Milford. Hole 13, Alistair Ray again. And nearest the ditch on hole 2 was Pete Constable. Cats Bar on Saturday played at Pinehurst, 2 drives each with 2 to score. The team in first place with 93 points, Rab Young, Dave Griffiths and Marius Bruiser. In second place with 91 points, Jason, Norman Morgan and Keith Halliwell. Jason having a very good day, nearest the pins on hole 5 and hole 13, and was also one of the 2s winners, along with Norman Morgan, Eugene Toy and Dave Griffiths with 2 2s. Okay, so then we move on to Sunday, 13th of July. Black Bull, managed by Lowell, played an individual Stableford competition. In first place with 36 points was Des Watts. In second place with 31 points, Dave Smith. And in third place with 30 points, Ian Stevenson. No results from Sunshine Golf Society. However, just quickly moving back to Saturday, the 12th of July, a lot of the Camposol members went to play a Federation Seniors game over at La Torre. There were lots of different groups which were based on handicap. It was nice to see a lot of the Camposol members out there. We all had a really good day with lots of freebies and a tapas lunch afterwards. Sadly, only one Camposol member came in the winning prizes, and so a special mention to Irene Langley, who came second in the Super Seniors group with 31 points. So well done, Irene. Okay, so that's a roundup of the results of the last 2 weeks. Okay, so that's enough of that. And joining me today in the studio is Rob Greatley.
Hi, Hayley. And hi again to everybody watching. Great.
Okay, so what are we talking about today, Rob?
Well, I thought we'd talk about the history and the evolution of the golf ball.
Okay, and
yeah, we have a couple of boxes here
of
modern golf balls.
So this is where we are now.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how we got to this stage.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, because I know it's a history lesson with Rob Greatley. So at this stage, people, if you want to just go make a cup of tea, settle yourselves down, get comfortable, here we go. Okay, Rob,
right.
Let's start with...
First of all, we've got 500 years of history.
500 years, all right. So the first balls.
Okay, so golf was obviously started in the 15th century.
Yeah.
A lot of ball games at that time were played with wooden balls, but it's not really generally thought that golf was played with wooden balls. So the thought is that the first balls were leather pouches filled with cow hair, and they were imported from the Netherlands.
Okay.
So that's the train of thought.
Okay, and was that the only type of ball that was available at the time, or were there other versions?
Well, around about that time, they started using leather pouches that were filled with feathers, either chicken feathers or goose feathers.
Right.
And what they did was they boiled them down, and then they filled these leather pouches with this concoction. Okay. And they were known those balls were known as a feathery.
Right. Who on earth had this idea?
Well,
that it was a good idea to.
There's actually no records to say who actually invented that ball, but it's generally known that they used a ball called a feathery. Okay.
All right. And then, so where did it go from there then? You know, how did it evolve from there?
Okay. So around about the middle of the, I think it was the 18th century actually. I just have to check. Yeah, actually, 1848. A gentleman by the name of Reverend Robert Patterson. Okay. He invented the gutta percha ball.
The what?
The gutta percha ball.
Gutta percha ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was made from the sap of the sapodillo tree, which is a tree that grows in Malaysia.
Okay.
And what he found was the sap, when it was dried, created like a rubber-like substance. And obviously the ball bounced, and therefore it was ideal for use for golf. Okay. And that was used then for the next 50 years. Okay. There's a little bit thing with that, but that was actually known, it wasn't known as a gutta percha ball, it was known as a gutty.
A gutty?
A gutty.
Okay. Is that a term that's even used in golf these days, or is that
well,
just
not now, but obviously at the time, people just knew the ball as a gutty ball.
Oh, okay.
And what they found was that when people played with the ball, especially when using an iron, the iron hit the ball and it made a mark. Made a mark on the ball, and after a few marks, they found that the flight of the ball changed. Right. Okay. So that brings us on to
like why the ball has dimples on it, basically.
Yeah,
I guess
that came a lot later, but that's
Yeah.
definitely the reason why we now have a dimple ball.
Yeah, okay.
But that's not really, although that ball was used for quite a while, the most important point of the modern golf ball came in 1898.
Okay.
When a gentleman by the name of Charlton Haskell, he was actually, there's a story to it actually, he was actually meeting his friend called Bertram Work, who worked for a company called B.F. Goodrich of Ohio, and that was basically a rubber manufacturing company.
Okay.
And he went to Bertram's work to wait for him while they were going to go and play golf. And while he was waiting for him, he picked a load of, like they used to make elastic bands.
Mm.
And so before they were cut, they were just basically in long reels of elastic bands.
All right.
And he basically he was sitting there wound and made a ball out of wound elastic bands.
Ah.
And he found that it bounced towards the ceiling.
Yeah.
And when his friend Bertram came down to play golf, he found out what he'd done and he said, you need to patent that.
Mm.
And that ball was known as the Haskell ball.
Ah. Interesting.
So that's,
just moving forward very quickly, we will come back to that in a second, but hasn't everybody at some point in their life made an elastic band ball?
Yeah. Well,
I know I have.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, sitting in an office when you're bored as an office junior and you just get a load of elastic bands and just make a little bouncy ball.
Well, he was obviously the first one, and it's just, I find it quite interesting actually that, when you talk about history of things that happen, what have you, that just something as mundane as that led us to where we are today.
Okay.
I mean, the elastic wound ball was played for at least 60 years.
Mm. Okay. So just going back to the pattern on the ball then.
Yeah.
So obviously, the ball then develops. And so where do we go with, I mean, I've got a couple of obviously more relevant balls here.
Yeah.
We have the pattern on the ball with the dimples.
That's right.
So how has that evolved
Well,
then?
first of all, obviously it's covered in white. It's covered in a white. An elastic band ball would have been brown.
Yeah. Ah, okay. So where did the white come from?
Well, what he found
then?
was the sap from the batelli tree, which is another tree that's grown in South America. They found that they could dip this elasticated ball in the sap, and then when it dried, it created a white coating around the ball.
Ah, okay.
And that sap was used for about 30 years.
Yeah.
On the ball. So the only thing they found with it is that it tended to cut quite easily.
Yeah.
And so they were pretty much throwaway balls.
Yeah.
Didn't last very long.
Okay. So do you know how they keep the whiteness now then?
That's a polyurethane ball.
Right. Okay. So it's, yeah. Okay. So we've moved on.
We've definitely
moved on a long way from
the sap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the sap. Okay.
From the sap.
Okay. So how are balls made? Just you say that's polyurethane. So how are balls made these days?
Okay. So I mean, as I said, the elastic ball lasted for about 60, 65 years. But then obviously modern materials, they now use a rubber composite inside the ball. I don't know if you've ever heard the term two-piece ball.
No.
Okay, well, generally most balls that we play with are two-piece balls, and that refers to the amount of layers of composite material. So they use one composite for the core, and another composite for the layer, and then the polyurethane on the outside, which these days is dimpled.
Okay.
And it's dimpled for a very good reason. Okay. Aerodynamics.
Aerodynamics.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, not all dimple panels. So this one, as you can see there, but not all dimple panels are the same. In the early days, they had dimples on one side and shiny on the other to try and make the ball do different shapes and what have you. But back in the early 20th century, the USGA and the RNA decided that was basically cheating. So they set a rule where they said that you could have dimples on the ball, but they had to be asymmetrical. Basically, it had to be the same pattern throughout the whole circumference of the cover of the ball. But that doesn't mean say you can't have different patterns. Different patterns will make the ball do different things. Yeah. But the same pattern, it must be the same pattern across the whole ball. Okay. So you find that certainly in the TaylorMade TP5X, which is a modern ball, it hasn't got round dimples, it's got hexagonal ones. Okay. The Callaway, I think the Callaway Super Soft has got hexagonal ones as well. Okay. And they're all different patterns. All right. Some have more dimples, some have less dimples.
So moving on to like the current day balls, and does that have anything to do with the hard and the soft balls.
Yeah, okay, so depending on what composite material is used in the middle of the ball will depend on whether it's a hard feel ball or a soft feel ball.
Okay.
Or there's a middle ball as well.
Okay.
And
so
they're not called hard and soft feel because of how they feel. They're called hard and soft feel because of how they feel when you hit.
Okay. So getting on to what's close to everybody's heart now.
Right.
Which balls we should be using.
Right.
You know, should we be using soft or hard balls depending on your speed of your swing?
Correct.
So let's move on to that, because I think that's something that's quite important to everybody.
So there's different ways of measuring your swing speed. There are apps you can get on a phone. There's Garmin. I can't think of the name for a minute, but anyway, there's apps you can get on your phone that you can measure your swing speed. So if your swing speed is quite slow, 55, 85 miles an hour, then really you should be using a soft feel ball.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because these balls work on compression. So when you actually hit the ball, the side of the ball you hit compresses, and then the energy for it trying to get back into shape is what causes the ball to go forward. Yeah.
Okay.
So somebody who's got a slow swing speed wouldn't want a hard feel ball because the ball won't compress. And therefore you won't be able to hit the ball far enough.
So what is the actual result of that then? So say for me, for instance, I'd have a fairly slow swing.
Right.
So if I'm hitting a hard ball,
the ball won't go so far.
So that is purely the impact.
Yeah, the ball won't go so far, and it probably
you don't get the height.
And it probably won't go so high as well. Yeah. So by somebody with a slower swing speed using a soft feel ball, they'll get distance and height.
Yeah. So it's as simple as that.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
You know, for the average golfer with a fairly slow swing, use a soft built ball and you'll get the height.
Yeah.
And probably about the same distance maybe as you would do in a hard ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know myself, I've used hard balls in the past and it just sounds like I'm hitting a brick.
It does.
You know.
Yeah.
And it looks like it as well.
There's a story to that. We'll come on to that in a minute. But But I mean, somebody like me, my swing speed is, I think, about 95 miles an hour. So I'm not really the right person to use a soft feel ball, but I'm not the right person to use a hard feel ball either.
Yeah.
So I use a Titleist True Feel myself, and that is a medium feel ball, and I find that it suits me, and I've been using them for must be 12 years.
Yeah. Is there a lot of cost difference in the balls, or does it depend on the manufacturer?
Titleist Pro V1s are very, very expensive. That's a hard feel ball. That's ones that.
I know. I can't use them. I mean, they are lovely, beautiful, but I cannot afford to use them.
No, they look nice, but they're useless.
I know. And when you fish them out the water, you're like, I've got a Pro V1.
Yeah.
And they'll just sit in my bag.
Leave it for somebody else to play with. Yeah. We had the proof in the pudding of using the correct ball. We had the perfect example a couple of weeks ago when you and I were playing together.
We did.
We started on the 10th hole, and for the first 6 holes you were using a hard feel ball, correct?
Yes, I was. Because I just liked it. It had a lovely logo on it, and I just thought, this is such a cute ball, I'm going to use this.
I mean, the change happened when you played a shot on the 16th.
Yeah.
And I could tell, because the ball was really low, and it went really, really didn't want it to go. And I said to you at that point, Hayley, use a soft feel ball, and you can tell the audience what happened from there on.
Oh, I think, I did.
Your very next hole, actually, the 17th.
On the 17th, I think I got a 5.
Longest drive you've ever made on the 17th?
I got a 5 on the 17th, using a soft field ball, so there you have it.
Yeah, proof in the pudding. And what did you do on the 9th for the first time?
On the 9th, I birdied the 9th.
You birdied the 9th?
I did birdie the 9th. I birdied the 9th using a soft field ball, so there you have it. Leave the Pro V1s alone.
Correct.
Yeah.
Use the correct ball for your swing.
Yeah.
It'll improve your game.
I mean, to be honest, the speed of the swing for using a hard ball, you've got to be sort of bordering on very, very low handicap or something.
Yeah. I mean, some people swing the ball hard, swing the ball fast. Some people have got a really fast swing speed, but that doesn't necessarily make them a good player.
Yeah.
But really, for most levels where we're playing. You shouldn't be using Pro V1.
Yeah. Really
okay. Not ideal.
Unless it's for ego.
Well, that's normally the case. Actually.
Yeah.
I just would say actually that a soft field ball for everybody is a better ball to use when putting, which is.
And that's the other thing, because that's something else that I've been made aware of. If for your short game, if you've got a soft field ball, the spin makes it stop
Yeah, quicker
on the green.
And you
so
have more
you've got
control.
less chance of it kind of going off
Yeah.
the back. So.
Yeah, you'll have more control over the ball.
Yeah,
than,
yeah.
The soft field ball is certainly better for our.
Yeah.
Our
So I think
standard.
that's what we're saying. You know, for the level of players mostly on Camposol.
Yeah.
We want to be sticking
We
with
should be using the soft field
soft
balls.
field balls. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
There we
All
are.
right.
The humble golf ball. Now you know.
A humble golf ball. Right. Thank you very much for coming in, Rob.
You're welcome.
That was very interesting.
Yeah,
Thank
always.
you. If you're interested in playing with any of the societies mentioned, please get in touch with the golf shop and they'll connect you with the relevant captain. And also, if you'd like your society featured on our results show, please get in touch and we'll let you know how you can get involved. Thank you. Thanks, Rob, for coming in.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, and we'll see you all next time. Bye for
Bye.
now.